We made a lot of hard work of that for ourselves, especially in the second half and in extra time. But we're off to Wembley in the semi-final of the FA Cup after beating Leicester City 2-1 in extra time. Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea for my review of the Leicester versus Chelsea game in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. And we won the game 2-1 after extra time, and Jesus Christ, we made that a lot of hard work for ourselves. First half was decent, but second half and extra time as well was just not very good at all. And, we just about, edged through there. But we're off to Wembley, we're in the semi-finals. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. But let's get straight into it and starting it off with the lineup. It was a 3-4-3. Willy Caballero in goal, a back three of Cesar Azpilicueta, Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rudiger. Two wing-backs of Victor Moses and Marcos Alonso. Two central midfielders of Timur Bakayoko and N'Golo Kante. And then the front three being Eden Hazard on the left, Willian on the right. With Alvaro Morata starting up front. And yet again, I was quite annoyed that Emerson Palmieri didn't get a start. So unless he hasn't reached full fitness after tearing his ACL, of course, last May, I find it a bit ridiculous that he's just not playing. Like, he got that game against Hull, I think it was, and he came on against City, but he didn't even touch the ball in that. Like, why is he not playing? Or is he just not performing at all in training? Like, it's weird. Like, I want to see him play like Alonso, even though he wasn't bad at all, but he just looked completely knackered towards the end. And, you need to give him a rest as well, because now Alonso is actually also travelling to the, Spain squad in the international break next week. So, some rest at some point would do Alonso well, so we need to get Palmieri, Emerson ready to actually play. Otherwise, though, I was, fairly happy with the lineup and it was pretty much as expected, I suppose. The first 15 minutes of the game were quite even, with short dominating spells by both sides, but no real dangerous moments, created by either side, with maybe the exception of an Albrighton volley that just about went wide of the post. But Bakayoko was back at what he was doing before his injury, constantly giving the ball away, and also Moses kept doing what he always does, gets into great positions, and then does nothing with it or makes the completely wrong decision. And it's just quite frustrating at the moment with those two. And you could see quite quickly that Leicester tried to crowd both Willian and Hazard as soon as they got the ball. And with Bakayoko and Kante midfield, we didn't struggle to really create chances because, especially without Fabregas, those two are obviously our main creative outlet. With more than 25 minutes played, we then had our first shot on target through Alvaro Morata when he received the ball just outside the box from a low cross by Marcos Alonso. Morata controlled the ball really well, had a shot with his second touch on his weaker left foot, but hit it straight at the keeper. But around that period, after 25 minutes, is when we started to control the game and possession more. We were still not really capable of creating all too much, but looked more dangerous and kept Leicester, and forced them to just hit us on the counter rather than create anything from open play, really. And Morata, I have to say, he got better the longer the first half went on. With just over 30 minutes played, he did really well to keep the ball under pressure from Maguire inside the box. He went around him and then tried to chip Schmeichel from an incredibly tight angle. His chip actually, I think, hit the outside of the post bar corner kind of thing. But there was an easy cutback to Marcos Alonso, available as well. To be fair to Morata, though, he was trying to get past Maguire, shrug him off as well while still keeping the ball in play. So, I think he did well there. It's understandable that he didn't have time to look up to find a teammate as well. So, like I said, he got better and better as the game went on. And with just under 40 minutes played, actually, Leicester hit us on a dangerous counter-attack, played Vardy through very well after we lost possession in build-up play. Azpilicueta reacted slightly too slowly. Vardy storming past him, but Caballero out of his goal extremely quickly, getting to the ball first, way outside of his box. And also, he didn't hoof it long. He stayed calm, passed it to a teammate, and we kept possession. If Courtois wasn't goal there, I think he would have conceded, because Courtois doesn't know when to get out of his goal most of the time. And then in the 42nd minute, Alvaro Morata made it 1-0. He's back. He actually scored a goal for the first time since Boxing Day. And I was so relieved for him and also for myself, really, to be honest. Alonso won the ball back very well from Mahrez after Leicester hit us on the break. Played it to Willian, who went on a good 50 to 60 yard run with the ball. Then played a perfect through ball to Alvaro Morata, who made a very good run in between the lines himself. And then Morata was one-on-one with the keeper. And honestly, I was just praying that he was going to score. And he did, with a perfect finish past Schmeichel into the bottom right corner. That was then half-time at 1-0. And it wasn't a perfect half, but getting better and better as the game went on, especially Morata improved by the minute. Also, a quick mention for N'Golo Kante, who was absolute class, an absolute machine in that first half. Winning every ball back, but also running with it and distributing it really well. And then we actually made a change at half-time and brought Fabregas on for Bakayoko. And I was like, something must be wrong with Conte. A change at half-time by Conte. This can't be real life. And to be honest, I almost feel a little bit for Bakayoko because, when you see him play, he's so obviously so nervous, almost terrified of giving the ball away, which, makes him more likely to lose the ball, in the first place. And he really needs a good game and then another start straight after, playing well in another game as well. If he can manage that, I think he'll be fine, and I think we can actually see a similar Bakayoko to what we saw at Monaco. Because, even though he wasn't the best player there, he was good, but he wasn't the best player there. But what he's doing at the moment is nowhere near what he was at Monaco. The question just is if he'll be able to get over those nerves and over, just being so scared and nervous all the time. He needs to get over that. But then getting into the second half, and the first real chance of that second half fell to Leicester and Jamie Vardy, who had acres of space to head the ball on goal but messed it up and put it way over. And we seemed quite unorganised, a bit all over the place for quite some time in the second half. When I wrote that down, it was just early in the second half. Basically, that was, what happened until the end of extra time, really. We were all over the place for a lot of that, Leicester getting way too many crosses into the box, and we struggled quite a bit to defend them as well. And I don't want to put that on Fabregas, but it just seemed a bit weird how, in the first half it was quite alright, but as soon as Fabregas came on for Bakayoko, it was all over the shop. I thought there was more because Leicester started to play more down the wings and forced our wing-backs back more. And, when our wing-backs are forced back, we struggle to play it out from the back and actually create and keep the ball. So I think that was the main reason, but it's still a bit, iffy. The Fabregas came on for Bakayoko and, we suddenly lost complete control of the game. Not saying it was Fabregas' fault, but maybe he played a part in it as well. Throughout the second half, we did create a few almost moments where we just about couldn't complete the last pass, or Schmeichel got his fingertips on a cross before Morata would most likely have just netted in from really close range, but no big out-and-out chances. And then in the 76th minute, Jamie Vardy actually made it 1-1. A ridiculously unlucky goal for us, actually. Amara's cross takes a deflection by Marcos Alonso, I think. It falls to Jamie Vardy. Then Christensen blocks Vardy's shot, falls to Iborra. Then Azpilicueta blocks, Iborra's shot, falls to Iborra again. Caballero saves Iborra's shot, then it falls to Vardy again, but then finally gets it in the net, even though Caballero almost kept that one out as well. With a great save, like I said, he got a hand to it, but it was struck too hard and it just bounced from his net into the net. And all of that happened in and around the 6-yard box, so very unlucky. Can't really just say poor defending. Guess maybe, Alonso should have done better with the Mahrez cross, but it was just very unlucky, really. But also after the goal, we were still all over the place, struggling with Leicester's intensity in midfield, and we just couldn't deal with their threat from the flanks. And when we did attack, we just didn't play our attacks out well enough, and that was obviously extremely frustrating. In the 83rd minute, Leicester actually almost made it 2-1 after Hazard played a really poor pass, well inside Leicester's half, straight to a Leicester player, when Morata was, quite free to actually be passed to. No idea what Hazard did there. Leicester hit us on a counter. Christensen missed the ball with his slide tackle, but Caballero thankfully made a good save to keep Vardy's effort out. And then a huge chance for Alvaro Morata in the 87th minute. After good combination play by Chelsea, Morata found himself just in front of the keeper, tried to slot it in, but Schmeichel got his leg to it and kept it out. But actually looked like offside anyway, and with, of course, VAR in use in the FA Cup, the goal probably wouldn't have stood anyway had Morata put it in. And generally, it just kept happening. Hazard, throughout the second half, was just constantly giving the ball away. And it was honestly so frustrating. Like, what are you doing recently? Like, sometimes I can't even blame him. He tries to play the difficult pass to actually create a chance. But in some moments when he lost the ball, it was just ridiculously easy. Like, sorry, mate, but what are you doing? And that was the end of normal time at 1-1. And we were into extra time. And in my preview, I was on about a replay game. Of course, there's none of that in the quarterfinal. My bad. Obviously into extra time, and then it would have been penalties. And it was just a very frustrating second half performance. Leicester certainly the better team with many, many more shots than we had. The Morata chance late on was the only real chance we created in the second half. And even that was probably offside. So, not a good first half at all. And into extra time, Leicester still looked the better and more dangerous side. Pedro then actually came on for Willian in the second minute of extra time. And Willian was clearly, in some discomfort after getting tackled into the ankle earlier in the game. And I think that was the only reason why it was him that came off. In the 11th minute of extra time, Cahill actually came on for Christensen, who also looked to be carrying a minor knock as well. Let's hope neither of Christensen or, Willian suffered any injuries and will be just fine to play both in the international break and, of course, against Spurs after the international break. And then Pedro, thank God, you little Spanish beauty, made it 2-1 in the 14th minute of extra time. A chipped cross by N'Golo Kante into the box, and then Kasper Schmeichel came flying out of his goal, but didn't get to the ball. Like, he tried to punch the ball away and was behind Pedro's head, who basically just headed it into an empty net. Had Schmeichel just stayed on his line, no threat at all, because the cross wasn't hit with a lot of pace. Pedro isn't exactly the best header of the ball, and he just tried to get some sort of pace on it. It would have been extremely easy to save for Schmeichel, but then he made a crucial error for us. Dreadful mistake by him, but, of course, we'll take it, and it was 2-1 for Chelsea. A minute after that, Olivier Giroud came on for Alvaro Morata, and then in the 17th minute of extra time, Leicester were actually very close to equalising again. Very similar to their first goal, this time from a Mahrez free kick, and the ball was just being shot and blocked inside the box, with Moses getting the last and decisive block in to keep the score at 2-1. And that was a big block, because otherwise Moses was god-awful, but, that was a huge block. And then Kante actually almost made it 3-1 in the 20th minute of extra time when the ball fell to him with acres of space inside the box, but Albrighton, who actually had a very good game for Leicester, managed to block the Frenchman's shot over the bar. And then towards the end, it was just a lot of defending by Chelsea, Fabregas with one other crucial block to keep Leicester out. And still we had a few attacks, counter-attacks that we just didn't play out properly to kill the game off earlier. But thankfully, it was then full time after extra time with a 2-1 victory in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup by Chelsea over Leicester City. And it wasn't a great performance. The first half was quite good, but the second half and extra time were rather poor. But we got a lucky goal with that Schmeichel mistake, and then we held out and we're off to Wembley into the semi-final of the FA Cup. And if you want to talk about players that did well, N'Golo Kante is the one that stands out. He was incredible. Assisted the winning goal, played an outstanding game overall. And Morata also had a good spell during the game, finally got back on that score sheet, which, should do wonders for his confidence, I think. And overall, he looked a lot better as well, I thought. Willian also played really well, but slowed down, quite a bit after getting that knock on his ankle. Like I said before, hopefully he's just fine. Everyone else wasn't exactly great, if not poor, especially Victor Moses. He was so poor. He just does everything wrong at the moment. He can't control the ball really well. Whenever he tries to go past someone, it doesn't work. He takes too long to make a decision. Takes too long to to cross the ball. And when he does cross the ball, it's 9 times out of 10 an awful cross. It's just really frustrating at the moment. Bakayoko wasn't very good in the first half either, but obviously came off at half time. Everyone else, like I said, wasn't exactly great either. Actually, Caballero, he was good as well. Got unlucky with the goal, but he was quite good. I was happy with him. Actually, I was just about to finish this recording, and then I saw on my phone the draw has already been made for the semi-final, and we are playing Southampton in the semi-final of the FA Cup, while Tottenham face Manchester United. So, whoever we get in the final will be a big game, but we definitely got the easiest draw out of the lot in the semi-final. So that's obviously very good. But that's really it from me. Leave me all of your thoughts on the game, on all the performances, on your thoughts ahead of the semi-final against Southampton. Leave me all of your thoughts about that down in the comment section below. Leave a like if you did enjoy this video. Don't forget to check out my social media, which is Laos1507 on both Instagram and Twitter. As you can see over here, I'd massively appreciate it if you could follow me over there. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to 100% Chelsea. We would massively appreciate that as well. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. And I'll see you next time.